Christian.
What's
No,
that?
he's 87. Christian is 87.
Oh, I'm thinking. Okay. Anyway, it's right around there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Still is.
Yep. I know his mom right there.
Hello, I'm here. Marissa Sergio from class of '98.
We're all by the years.
How are you?
I'm Brother Brother.
Oh. Okay, your dad.
Yeah, you got
You look like him.
I got it. Sounded familiar.
Yeah, I hear a lot.
Okay.
Not too many of
Was
those.
that 88? So did I hear that you're a teacher?
Yeah, so you do
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you going to school?
Pace University.
Like it?
Yeah, it's fun time.
Yeah. That's a fun one. No, just
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly. I keep looking for new degrees. I'm like, yeah, this one. Go. Just so you know, we are screening. Just don't want you to have to start. No problem. Say hi to her. They took out the no, the pods, just my sister's first class using the pods and then she
Okay. Should I? So we're going to record it. That's why this is so that we can do it. So that we can push this out to everybody. We did have over 150 people already sign up for interest. That's a way of putting it. We hope we get a better turnout, but if we could use this just to start and pump up the volume on it, hopefully it will gain some momentum. So nice to meet you too. I know, obviously Mike and Marissa, Mike Ross, I'm the superintendent. So let me just step through our slides and then I'm going to turn it over to Rachel. Okay. So I'm the superintendent. Rachel's one of our technology specialists. Is that a fair way to describe you? And she and I have been working with Mike Cronin on this for well over a year now to put together the website you're going to see. It's literally capable of doing anything that any college website can do. On the Notre Dame, Rachel spent, it was Kansas? Rachel spent 3 days out in Kansas getting trained on this website, and the company, iModules, really has the market for the most part on alumni websites. So if you looked on your college website next time you send it, you'll find them somewhere buried in the trademark or whatever that label is. So when we get to there, you'll see that down the line, if we can get enough volunteers, you really have the opportunity to connect with anybody and everybody that's ever been a Sparta High School student. All right, so what are the goals for our session here? Go through the purpose of it, at least from my standpoint, and certainly whatever you guys think is appropriate utilization of Sparta alumni and association is great by me too. Try to get volunteers for the advisory courses, and hard for you guys to leave without getting a lot of pressure. A discussion about ideas and events, we have kicked those around, but certainly we want to hear yours. And then an overview of the Sparta Association website and member registration, which Rachel will handle, and then complete the registration process. All right, so before we talk about that, I just want to identify the conceptual framework that I am working under with this. So I'm trying to place myself as someone in receipt of this information as a Hackettstown High School alumnus. I went to Hackettstown High, all my brothers and sisters did. My dad taught there as a coach, he taught for 54 years, so my kids go there. My last one is a senior, so she's going to graduate next month. But quite like Sparta, Hackettstown's a place where people grow up, they go to school, they graduate, they go to college, they do their thing, they get married, they raise their family back, or stay very close for work, right? So it's that type of community, and for me, as much as I love getting stuff from my college, I always felt it would be great to somehow get reconnected, at least with my crew from graduation class of 1983. Like I think of people like Doug Farrell that we did a lot of stuff with back then. So I mean, I think Doug's out in California. Steve Durfee, last time I heard from him was in the 90s, and he was in Okinawa, Japan, in the armed service. And the list goes on and on and on. And so I would love to be able to somehow connect with them. I'd like to hear about what they're doing, and just stay part of the Hackettstown High School community. So my thought is it stands to reason that Sparta probably has a lot of people who feel like that as well. I do have a little bit of a legacy here in and of. I have 2 nephews and a niece who graduated from here. Michael Rossi, Stacy Rossi, and Sean Rossi. And they were involved in sports and all that. So that's kind of the backdrop. Getting people together, connecting with people, and getting those people who've graduated reassociated with what's going on in not just in the high school, but in the school district and the community at large. So I want to just put these all up. Is that the last one? Yes. So let me start from the bottom. So we conceptualize, just calling it an advisory report, but essentially looking at areas by which this alumni association can flow through and connect with people who graduated, people who are living in town, people who want to be associated with the school district. Because there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of volunteering that goes on. We're never short on volunteers in the school district. I mean, anything, at least from my perspective, the things that I see going on, the booster clubs, the foundation, the PTOs, there's always, I believe, an ample supply of energy, support, fundraising. There really is. I mean, we really are, in many ways, leagues ahead of other school districts right now. I mean, we are presenting our budget on Monday, and we are in definitely the 10% and probably more like the 5%ers right now in the state that is able to put turf field in, keep all our programs, and add 7 full-time positions going in. That's just not happening around the state. And that's the result of a community that is really strongly and passionately committed to providing opportunities for its children, its middle schoolers, young teenagers, and young adults. So with that, first and foremost, we really want people to be able to connect with one another. So my thought would be, as we get people signed up and we have their email addresses and we have them as part of the Alumni Association and connected through it with the website and all that it can offer, if there was someone or some way that we could capture all the great things that people are doing as Sparta alumni, that would be wonderful. Again, I'm just going to keep referencing where I am in Hackettstown, in that I'd love to know that one of my classmates is, a lawyer out in Texas, or they're doing something with marketing, or they're teaching, or they're coaching, or they're raising a family. And I think that in and of that, my vision is that our current students could really benefit from our alumni in a lot of different ways. If someone is interested in pursuing a particular career and a group of alumni or an alumnus is in that career and is willing to share their journey to get to where they are in that career, I think that's very beneficial to a young person, to a 9th grader, a 10th grader, or even somebody who's in college and trying to decide on their choice of a vocation. So in and of that, I mean, events that are going on, a way to coordinate activities and so on, reunions if nothing else. So that would be kind of news and events and alumni connections and relations. We really have, in terms of fine and performing arts, co-curricular activities, and athletics, if I can lump them together, we really have a standard of excellence in those areas. If you follow our athletic teams, by and large, if you go fall, winter, spring, there's not a season that goes on that we don't have a championship team. I mean, and we're very, very competitive. And more so than that, we're providing our student athletes with experiences that are going to benefit them in a lot of ways. Hi, welcome. Down the line. And so if someone were willing to kind of oversee that component, either athletics, you know, what's happening with that co-curricular, fine and performing arts programs are stellar. If you come to see something that's going on in our auditorium, musically, theatrically, you'll see that it's at a level that is as good really as you're going to find in a high school. And so to the extent that we can extrapolate from that and capture that within our alumni association, I think that would be beneficial. And then, of course, like any alumni association, we hope to be able to fundraise for it. If there's something that is specific that we think that we want to reach out to alumni, that is a staple component of any alumni association. But that doesn't really need to be foundational to what we're doing. It presents itself as an opportunity, but it's the fact of the matter is we are doing this. It's perfectly legitimate to just be a part of it without any activity in that regard. I also want to develop a position, if you will, or have someone maintain the list of scholarships and opportunities that we provide for our students to garner financial and other types of support for their future. We have a whole slew of scholarships that, a whole slate of them that we identify and present to students at the end of every year to our seniors. And then also to our senior athletes, we have an event that's called the Monogram Dinner. And so individuals as our alumni actually, in many cases, are the inspiration behind them, or they're actually the people who are funding them. So I would like to formally recognize those, and then maybe there's opportunities for Sparta alum to formulate other considerations for our graduates as they go off towards other pursuits of careers and education. So these are the areas that we thought would be potential opportunities for the Alumni Association to transfer its knowledge, its skills, its history, and its information among the graduates. And we felt that was less. So, and definitely, if nothing else, the website can be a conduit for getting people together, reunions. I don't know that there's any formal location that unless you guys know of one, that the graduating classes populate information when they're trying to get information out about a reunion. At least, again, in Hackettstown, it's just somebody's got a Facebook or send stuff out, or emails, or people start texting back and forth, and it's really in a large sense catch as catch can. I mean, when we were at our 5-year reunion or 10-year reunion, everybody was still very connected in a lot of ways, and that's when email was just starting, right? And so people were excited about getting information that was still very, very raw and new. As you move on in your career and your lives, you don't stay as connected. So I thought if there was a portal for the purposes of being a conduit of information for reunions, the Alumni Association and Alumni website would serve that purpose. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to our magnificent website creator and host, Rachel Bonham, and she's going to take us through how the website works and what it offers to our alumni.
Okie dokie. Yeah, just not doing a good job. So here we go. Okay. Yeah. Oh, come on. This thing is really tough, huh? There it is. Got it. Yes, score. Okay. Hi, my name is Rachel Bonham, and I have had the privilege of designing a tool that I hope at the launch and the endeavors in the future of this association can be utilized in order to basically bring about a connectedness that within the Sparta community that all alumni, as far back as the first class or as far as the future class wants to take it to utilize. So in looking at the glimpse, what I need all of you to be aware of at the start is that this is just a framework. I developed the content of this site and this site with the framework of what Dr. Rossi just reviewed with you. And everything on it is, of course, meant to give you a platform to build upon. And anything that's currently on the site is editable. It doesn't mean that it's set in stone. It's just a way for us to kind of get you off the ground, per se. So with that being said, I'd like to actually take you into the site itself. I'm going to be discussing the overview of the site, exploring some of the cool possibilities with it, and as well as show you how to access tutorials and guides, especially for those that aren't able to join us here today and would like to register after this presentation. So with that being said, I'm going to find my map, and here we go. So you're going to notice that this is the framework of the site. The Alumni Association of Sparta now has its own URL, alumni.sparta.org. This website was, when you come to it, you're on the home page, and the home page is divided into 3 sections. The first thing you'll notice is that there's a navigation bar with 5 channels. The 3 remaining sections of this home page are the news, the events, and the give, and the events are down here. With that, you'll notice that there are the news, the events, and the give sections, and sorry, there we go right back on top, are 3 of the main sections on the nav bar. And the purpose of this is if somebody wants to access news, events, and give from the home page, or whether they want to access it from the navigation bar channels, it offers the user of the site, whether they be an alumni or just a simple visitor, right, the ability to decide which is best for them. The first channel you'll notice is the About channel, and it is comprised of 3 sections. Those sections are the goals, the mission, and the advisory board. That's to give anyone that visits the site or any alumni that chooses to register on the site the ability to know what it is your goals and mission are for the association. The next channel over is news, and there's currently only 1 section under news. It's top stories. Top stories basically gives the top stories that are happening within the association. Right now, they are populated with the new Sparta Association website, which is a news event. This is an event. It's a news story. It gives you the guides and the tutorials, the Distinguished Spartan Award, and the Athletic Hall of Fame. In addition to that, because news typically feeds events, or events that have happened feed the news, they're tied one in one, and under events there are 3 sections. Those sections are upcoming events, homecoming, and reunions. What is really, really cool about this site and its vast capabilities is, like Dr. Rossi said, the infrastructure and the design of this platform is catered specifically for alumni purposes. So upcoming events contains events, right now, in fact, that are just frameworks to be used. But for instance, the Spartan Dragon Boat Festival. That is an event that's put on by the Sparta Education Foundation. The event can be something that you're publicizing because you want to create an alumni dragon boat group, right? They could register and through this site for that event, and then you're going to have a dragon boat, perhaps. Or there's something like Dr. Rossi mentioned regarding the first alumni career talk. This, again, is just a framework. It's not set in stone. It's not even an event that has to happen. But it can show you that this site has the capability for vast opportunity for all in-house events, including reunions. Like Dr. Rossi had mentioned, you can use this site to hold and register all class year reunions, because every single person that's registered on this site will be a verified alumni, which is really cool, because then you know that if they're registering for your events, if you've only made them to be for alumni, they're truly alumni. It's pretty cool. The next thing is Connect. Now, Connect is awesome, and this is what totally sets this site apart from any type of social media and other platform that you might have been using. You only can get into Connect if you're verified to be an alumni and if you register for the site. Not only that, the Connect My Profile allows you to upload a profile picture. Put where you're living now, whether you're married or if you have children. What's your profession? What are your activities and interests? What if you just are living in Sparta now and all of a sudden you get transferred and you have to move to LA? Wouldn't it be cool to be able to search on an online directory for any fellow Spartans that might be out there, so that you can have some type of friendship or starting ground, or somebody that has an activity or shared interest? Class notes is really cool, because if you're a registered user, your class notes are exactly like what they say they are. They are divided into categories. You can leave notes regarding whether you just got married, or whether you're taking a really cool vacation, or do you have a really cool recipe. Anything like that you might want to share. There's a way to search for those class notes and add them. It's pretty cool. And featured alumni. Now, oftentimes after you leave high school, like Dr. Rossi said, you stay in contact with people that are your friends, and sometimes you'd like to reach out and see those that you've lost touch with, or you'd like to just know something about them. What if one of your fellow alumni became a published children's author and won an award, but was under maybe a different married name than when, let's say it was a female, than when she was in high school? And you wanted to nominate that friend of yours for their achievement and showcase their achievement to your fellow alum. Featured alumni is a page or a section that allows you to do that. The next is Give, and as Dr. Rossi said, this site allows anyone that's not registered or registered to donate, and to donate to the school district and to the future graduates of Sparta High School. With that, you can designate your donations to go to specific areas that Dr. Rossi had previously mentioned. Perhaps you really want to give a donation to the English department, or to the science department, or to the new STEM program, or to enhance the athletics program, or to the IT department. you can do any of the designations that afford you that. And then let's say you donate, but you want to know what's happening with your donations, what great things are coming from them. Well, that's the Your Donations at Work page. It gives those that donate the ability to see all the cool things their money is helping out in terms of helping future graduates and the institutions that make up Sparta School District. The Alumni Association Scholarship is a section right now. It's, again, not something that has to exist, but it just gives you an idea that you all as an association can develop a scholarship that you might want to provide future graduates regarding whatever criteria you choose to set forward. Well, that is, in a nutshell, the website. And I encourage everybody, even those watching, to go ahead and check it out, alumni.sparta.org. And what's even better is if you filled out the registration form online, you have information there is information that will allow you to register. So without further ado, let's go back to the presentation and let's register. In order to register, you're going to need to access, if you're not here at the event itself, but watching on video, you're going to need to have your first-time login and constituent ID. With that, I'd really like to go back to the site very quickly and just show all of those that might be interested. Under News and Top Stories, under the new Sparta Alumni Association website, you can see from the intro, this contains tutorials that will allow you to walk through and access what you need in order to complete the registration process. It also gives you guidance on things that I just went over. Well, now I will give it back to Dr. Rossi.
So why don't we have everybody
Okay. So thank you for joining us today, and